I wouldn't know because I blacked out for the entire period.
Right.
Yeah, Blake was just behind me, awkwardly manipulating my body while
Right.
Yeah, it was amazing. Her son is a Deadpool fan. I brought him the Deadpool mask. He put it on.
Look at that.
There he is. Yeah, he's wearing the Deadpool mask right there.
Oh,
that's the real mask.
I mean, that's kind of amazing.
It is kind of amazing.
Like, are you at her concert? Where is this? I'm trying to figure out where you are.
I thought it was on a cruise ship.
Is that
no.
Maybe is it a cruise ship?
Spoiler alert, we're having dinner at our apartment.
Oh, okay.
Are there plans for yet another Deadpool in the franchise?
Yeah, we're working on it right now with the whole team. We're over at Marvel now, which is the big leagues all of a sudden. It's kind of crazy. So yeah, we're working on it.
And you're also working on with The Rock on a new film. Is that right?
I am. I know, right?
Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. We have big Deadpool 3 Marvel news. So Ryan Reynolds is doing the talk show circuit explaining what's going on with Deadpool 3. We know a little bit about what's going on behind the scenes, so we'll break it all down. If you're brand new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get all the videos. There's going to be a whole bunch of big Marvel stuff happening real soon. We're doing a new Marvel Amazon giveaway too. All you have to do to enter is be a subscriber and leave all your predictions about Deadpool 3 on the video. So if you're wondering why Ryan Reynolds is wearing an ugly sweater going on the morning talk show circuit, he's just promoting that Netflix movie that he made with Michael Bay. I'm not going to be talking about that. That's not really relevant to what's going on with Deadpool 3. It's just that while he's going around doing this, everyone's asking him what's going on with him at Marvel. Are you going to make Deadpool 3? Of course he's going to make it. He's been talking about it for a while now. The reason why he's doing this wearing the ugly sweater from last year is because it's a big callback to the prank war that he's been having with Hugh Jackman that goes back to the first Deadpool movie. It's funny how no matter what he does, it all goes back to Deadpool somehow. But the really important stuff in all this is that he's just explaining how they've been actively working on Deadpool 3 inside Marvel. So when he says they're working on it right now, he's talking about his Inner Circle production team, which right now is mostly just the writers from the first Deadpool movies, Rhett Reese and Paul Wernick. They've also been talking about what's going on with Deadpool at Marvel now in Deadpool 3. All good stuff though. The only people that have been kicked off the Deadpool team since Marvel got control of those characters again are some of the upper-level Fox producers that have moved on to other projects because Kevin Feige is now producing Deadpool 3 himself. And when I mean they're making it inside Marvel, obviously metaphorically they're making it under the Marvel umbrella because Marvel controls all the Fox, X-Men, Fantastic Four characters now, but it also means literally inside the Marvel offices down the hallway from Kevin Feige. You probably remember the stories that the Russos and the writers from Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame told about how they had a giant conference room that was literally down the hallway from Kevin Feige, just plastered wall to wall with all kinds of crazy charts and plans to keep track of those two movies when they were busy writing the actual movies. The reason why a lot of the Marvel movies get written that way is so that Kevin Feige can actually physically walk down the hallway and poke his head into all the different movies' writers' rooms as they're being written and give them notes. You also may remember earlier this year, Ryan Reynolds dropped a funny Deadpool 3 Marvel Phase 5 teaser for the anniversary of the date that he leaked the original Deadpool test footage from the first film. At the time, it was kind of hard to tell if he was just having fun on his own or if he was actually trying to imply that he'd already worked out a deal with Kevin Feige on how they'd work on Deadpool 3. Everything is just a little bit different now that they're under Marvel supervision, but all the things that Kevin Feige and the big executives at Marvel and Disney have said have been good things. They don't want to change Deadpool or anything like that within the Deadpool movies, and they also want to find a way to use him inside the traditional MCU movies, like the big Avengers films eventually. There's a little bit of nuance to that because you're not going to be seeing him dropping F-bombs all over a PG-13 Avengers movie, but they did say that they would allow them to make R-rated Deadpool films while they're with Marvel. I did a whole Easter egg video about this here, but it's basically Ryan Reynolds acting like Deadpool himself was trying to solve the mystery as to who leaked the Deadpool test footage. All the names of the people on the board here are people that were involved in the making and development of the original Deadpool movie, including some of the Fox executives. But if you guys didn't know, it was actually Ryan Reynolds himself that leaked that test footage.
We have no idea how that happened, but I promise you, I'm looking into it.
Because initially, Fox wasn't going to make the movie. The test footage was created back in 2011, but it was around the time Green Lantern came out, And after that movie bombed, right after the 2009 Wolverine Origins debacle happened, Fox was just a hard pass on any kind of R-rated Deadpool film. But Ryan Reynolds and Tim Miller thought that they could do the character justice, so a couple years later at Comic-Con in 2014, after the project had kind of stalled out and the test footage had been sitting on a shelf on a hard drive for a couple years, Ryan Reynolds leaked the footage on purpose. You all probably remember it blew up huge, everyone loved it, and it sort of controlled the conversation at Comic-Con that year. That was the big thing, and within a few days, Fox greenlit the original Deadpool movie, and they were off to the races. So this just commemorates that anniversary while also teasing the new Marvel version of Deadpool 3. Like he says in the little caption here, 5-year plan, 5-phase plan, as in Marvel Phase 5. Right now, the best scenario for when they would actually release Deadpool 3 is probably 2022. Like if you look at all these dates here for the untitled movies, that would be after Black Panther 2, which we know is coming out May 2022, which actually seems like that might wind up being the first true Marvel movie with X-Men Fantastic Four characters deeply integrated into the plot, because the rumor is that Doctor Doom is going to be the main villain of Black Panther 2. There is an untitled Marvel movie scheduled for October 2022. That would probably be where they release Deadpool 3. And as for the story of Deadpool 3, the characters and how it fits into the MCU movies, the biggest thing is that Kevin Feige, the Disney CEO, and the Deadpool 3 writers have all said that they're still going to let them do it as an R-rated Deadpool movie. But the way it's probably going to work, because they do want Deadpool inside MCU movies eventually too, crossing over with the other mainstream Avengers characters, is that when he appears in the mainstream Marvel films, like an Avengers film, he'd have to be a PG-13 version of himself, but he can be as crazy and hardcore as he wants in the R-rated Deadpool solo films. Same goes for when other Marvel characters show up inside the Deadpool R-rated solo films. Like, they're not going to let Chris Evans be Captain America or Robert Downey Jr. show up as Iron Man in an R-rated Deadpool film, being super hardcore. Like, the Hulk isn't going to show up and start ripping Deadpool in half all of a sudden. But the Deadpool people now have access to all the Marvel characters. So remember in the first Deadpool film how they traded a lot on X-Men humor. He went to the X-Mansion and complained because the movie was so low budget they couldn't afford big mainstream X-Men characters. They made all the jokes about how the big A-list X-Men characters didn't want to have anything to do with him, which is why you had the lesser characters like Colossus and Negasonic Teenage Warhead coming to deal with him. Now that he's inside the MCU, you just have to picture him going up against, say, like a C or B-list Marvel villain and then complaining about how the Avengers don't want to help him out because they're either all dead or retired, like in the case of Hawkeye. Like, he made all the Wolverine jokes at the beginning of Deadpool 2 about him dying in Logan. Imagine him doing the same thing with Iron Man. Robert Downey Jr. wouldn't come on screen himself, but he could trade on a lot of Iron Man jokes. He could also trade on a lot of Spider-Man, Tom Holland jokes, but they couldn't have Tom Holland come on screen. That would involve like a completely separate deal with Sony too, which is why you probably won't see Spider-Man inside a Deadpool movie anytime soon. And even though Black Panther 2 seems like it might be the first genuine big Fantastic Four crossover, you have to remember that there was a version of Deadpool 2 that Tim Miller was working on before he left the project, which was going to have the Thing and a bunch of Yancey Street stuff going on during it, instead of the Juggernaut stuff. I don't know that that would have been better, but it would have been fun to see some Fantastic Four stuff, given how badly the last Fantastic Four movie went. Seriously, I am so excited for Kevin Feige's Marvel version of Fantastic Four. We've hit rock bottom with that franchise so many times that there's nowhere to go with those characters but up. So everyone, let me know in the comments, thinking about all that stuff, what do you want them to do with the Deadpool solo films that are still going to be R-rated? Which B and C list Marvel villains do you want them to include in that now? It would be fun to see some mainstream Avengers, but I'm only expecting them to be making jokes about some of the dead Avengers characters. Remember the montage that they did at the beginning of Spider-Man Far From Home? Just a really funny, jokey way of referencing all the big stuff that happened during Avengers Endgame. It would be funny to see them reference something like that inside Deadpool 3, even if it's only just a couple seconds and a quick joke. You may have also seen Kevin Feige did a really big panel recently for Marvel Phase 4, talked a lot about Doctor Strange 2, so I will do a breakdown video for that stuff in the next day or so, but leave all your Marvel video requests in the comments below, and post all your Deadpool 3 predictions on the video. Everyone, click here for my Mandalorian Episode 8 finale video, and click here for my last really big Black Widow trailer breakdown and Easter eggs. Thank you so much for watching, everybody stay awesome, I'll see you guys tonight.